Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Coffee with Ori. I am your host, Ori, and today's subject we will be talking about religious orders. We're not going to be talking about God or Christ or anything like that. We're going to be talking about orders, their practices, and fact or fiction. If they are abusive, if they're not, and how they take care of you or how they expect you to react. There are many orders that have been around for the longest times, like Kemet, uh, Santeria, and DR, the mysteries, the 21 division, the mysteries. There is voodoo, there's hoodoo, and there are other secret societies that are also religious. So we're going to keep this simple to just the religions that we as minorities know and understand. Um, Minorities across the board, even Buddhism. Um, the first thing, the first thing that I want to talk about is the fact that whenever you get involved in a religious sect or a religious order of any kind, you first have to acknowledge the fact that if you're an adult, you're an adult, you're not a child. So the fact that every religion has rules and regulations is fine. But when they start to treat you as if you were a child or if you were incompetent because they are either a priest or priestess or a hierarchy, um, then you have to start to look at things differently. It has been my experience along the years, that as a medium, I come from a line of mediums and have learned mediumship through family, through very gifted individuals that were that were spiritual people, not people that were considered psychics or anything like that, and not religion, no santeria, nothing like that. It's just basic mediumship. And when you deal with mediumship, there are no questions that are dumb questions, and there are no questions that should not be answered. If you have the will to ask, people should have the courtesy to tell you. A lot of the times, that is not the case. We go to churches and churches expect you to do certain things. You know, just like in every spiritual sector, there are people who follow rules. There are people who don't follow rules. There are people who can line everything up for you, and then there are people who do it their way. To me, my honest opinion is whatever works. As a Yoruba priest, an elder, and as an ordained minister, and as a meditation teacher and Reiki master, and all the things that come with it, I have learned that the rule of thumb is always do as I say, not as I do. Apprenticeship is someone who wants to be molded by you to work alongside of you or work towards their own spiritual house. And in apprenticeship, you will be taught according to the way your teacher is teaching, just like you would do in school. So you basically listen, gravitate, do your homework, because a good teacher will give a lot of homework. So, yes. And, to be an apprentice to help someone spiritually is not cheap. but it has nothing to do with money in reality. All of that is discussed from the beginning. What I find, and I think a lot of you out there might have found along the years, is that people are becoming desperate. And not only are they becoming desperate, they're becoming very selfish, very self-absorbed, and very interested in the almighty dollar. It's not about what people are about and what religion or religious practices can really mean, or what they can really do for you. Now, I'm going to take you back to the beginning where I said about mediumship. A mediumship is about learning how to connect with your ancestors, to have that private conversation, that private interaction with ancestors, with spirits, angels, and guides to surround you. But overall, God. Okay, so God is the foundation. Let's just say the universe. Father, Mother, God is the foundation. And then we are the vessels. So we have a hierarchy. It's not a pecking order. It's a hierarchy of your teachers. And then comes you. Although the teacher is the hierarchy, the teacher is no better than you. The teacher and you are at the same level. They just have a little bit more spiritual experience, which is not mundane experience. It's not so much as earthly experience as it is spiritual experience. I'll continue with this. Part of growing on a spiritual plane is reading. You can't have spirits running around if you don't know how to control them. And people may say you can't control the spirit, but actually the spirit is of light. Spirits can be educated so that they don't act foolish. They'll act as if they've done it, as if they're still alive. So they'll interact with you, whether it's physical where you can see them, or whether it's in your mind's eyes, or whether it's in your ear. Spirit will have a way of connecting with you, but also spirit needs light. We set up altars. We set up what we call a bóveda, which is an altar with maybe statues and pictures of our ancestors. And we have a cross, a Bible. Some people put rum, some people put coffee, some people put flowers. And some people have a bell to ring, and they light candles. All of the above, because I do all of the above. Now, what exactly is that for? Well, the foundation of spirituality is a very powerful foundation, but we also need a buffer. So some people say that the cups that are surrounded, now the misconception is you can't use, you have to use 8 cups, 7 small ones, 1 big one, or you can use 8 and then 1 9, which is what I have. But then people are like, why can't we do less than that? Which actually you can. You can put 4 small ones and 1 big one, and you can put 3 small ones, 2 here and 1 here. Hi, Kathy, and thank you. Welcome to the show. So Corali's hi, welcome. One of the things and one of the reasons that the cups of water are so important is some people think that each cup represents an ancestor. Some people think that each cup represents a chakra. Some people believe that those cups of water that are there, because they're individually, they are to capture different types of spirits and keep them hostage. That's not really true. The way I was brought up and the way that I was taught, which was the old way, is that you need water because the water is part of the foundation that helps you not absorb all of the negative things that may come at you. So the water is almost like a sponge, and it picks up. And yes, when the water gets murky or dirty, you throw it out. Not in the house, or if you're gonna throw it in the house, you flush it down the toilet. But usually, you go outside and you dump it outside in the front, and then you clean it, and then you put it back and change your altar and do all the things above. Um, I have one up there that it's like a mini altar that I've always had since I was a kid on top of the refrigerator. I grew up like that too. And there's always water. There's water all over my house, by the way. Being a child of Yemaya, and because I am a Cancer and I'm a water sign, I've always been attracted to water. I always have to hear water running. So that is part of who I am. So now back to what I was talking about. The cups are important, but you don't need to have 7 or 8 or anything. Some people live in a small apartment. Some people can only have 1 cup. So why not have 1 cup of water? Just make sure you change it on a constant basis, because you have to look at it this way. The water is part of your protection. Many cultures believe in that. Many cultures will pray. Many cultures, mean like Buddhists and Hindus and some Arab, Sufis, they will take a glass of water and they will pray on it, on the dresser, on the nightstand, and they would chant or they would meditate or they would pray. And when they were done, they would drink the water, because they believe that the healing properties in the prayers made the water healthy and healing. So they drink it. I'm not debating either or, because I was a Buddhist and I used to wake up with nightmares, and I used to put a glass of water and chant and then drink it, and I felt better. Maybe it was the mental thing, but either or, the water is an important base. Okay, that's one thing you have to learn. Prayers are very, very, very important. 1 second, so I can show you. In the Hispanic culture, this is our Bible. This is the Bible that we have grown up with. It's a book by Allan Kardec. Now, Allan Kardec was not his real name. Allan Kardec was the spirit that was inside of him. That was his name, and he was the one who guided this gentleman. If you guys want to know about Allan Kardec, they have a movie on Netflix about him. So he was the renowned, like the father of spirituality. You're welcome. And hello, Sadia. Good evening. So anyway, he was the father. But there's a book. There's a book this book in English is horrible. So these 2 young ladies wrote the book, rewrote a book. And it's the same book, which is called the Collections of Spiritual Prayers, and by Allan Kardec. But these 2 women wrote it. One is the light-skinned sister, and the other one is a little darker. But they're 2 women, and you see them together. And the collection of spirit, and it's very, very good, because there's prayers for the soul, prayers for the spirits that haven't found peace, prayers for people who have wronged you, prayers for the home, prayers for the needy, prayers for every day, prayers for the family, prayers to educate the dead, prayers to get rid of bad karma, bad energy, prayers to help you evolve. So there are prayers for everything. Now, in every spiritual practice, there has to be, there are information. A lot of the times when you get involved in a religion, like, let's say, Palo Mayumbe. Palo Mayumbe has a lot to do with the African roots, but was more mastered in Haiti. and then brought into the Caribbean. And they deal with spirits that are of very low light, because there are very many levels of spirits. And those spirits dedicate themselves, not saying that they're not kind. And I'm not even going to tell you that a lot of those spirits are not prisoners, because they are prisoners. But a lot of those spirits will help you. They will help you to live. There's a big difference between living and healing. So those spirits are sometimes utilized for protection. They're utilized to help you with wars, if you're in a war, to help other people, break evil that may surround them, or things that may cause a lot of problems for them. Now, one of the things about Palo Mayumbe is the fact that it's not like mediumship. Mediumship, you can go, there are very few places that work white table, where people will actually take the time to teach you and to educate you. Very few people do that. And when it comes to Palo Mayumbe, most people go to these houses, and yes, some of these readers are amazing readers, because although the spirit has very little light, doesn't mean that the spirit is not educated and the spirit does not have a clue. The spirit is very, 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 the spirit can be very colorful. Excuse me. And they can have a lot of light, but you don't have to have a pot, so-called a pot, like they call it, to practice this. But there are ceremonies that you have to go through that are necessary within their realm, that help you to open yourself up. But then again, like I said, no question is a stupid question, and every question should be answered. Now, if your teacher or your mentor is doing this in a group setting, then it is up to you to take the time, to make the time to be there, so that you can learn. It is up to you to make sure that you have a notebook, a pen, paper, or even record the lesson. Why? It's always good to go back as a reference. It's very important. It's like being in school. But then again, in Palo Mayumbe, not everybody will want to help you. And a lot of the times, unfortunately, we're living in really difficult and unsanctioned times, where people will initiate you, and they will actually do it, and they'll take your money, and they'll charge you a lot of money, and yet they won't teach you anything. It's almost like, you come here, I'll do it for you. You come here, I'll do it for you. I'll fix it for you. I do this, I do that. Do I believe that that is the right way of handling situations? Not when you're dealing with adults. There's a lot of children that come into this religion, and they come into Palo Mayumbe because of their parents. And some people need saving, and they've been to church, and the church has supposed to help them, and however things turn around, they end up where they end up, and somehow, they think that they're doing the right thing, and they get scammed. And they may not want to spend $10 to go to this person, but then they'll end up spending $1,000 with that person, because that person is charging them more, so therefore that person is doing it better. That's not always the case. Sometimes cheap things end up costing you more in the long run. Now, when you deal with Santeria at one point, Santeria becoming a Yoruba priest, or a priest of Lukumi. because most Hispanics get initiated in Lukumi. They go hand in hand. The Yoruba faith and Lukumi go hand in hand in Santeria. Most people who are initiated belong to the Association of the Yoruba Foundation, like I do. I belong to the Association of the Yoruba Foundation, not just in Cuba, but also in Washington, D.C. Now, there are rules and regulations to this particular order because not only does it deal with spirituality, it also blends in with Christianity. For many years, this religion has hidden behind Catholicism, the Catholic statues and things like that. But there was a time that anybody who was not baptized could not get initiated. And people have changed that aspect of the religion. Also, the godchildren. Let's back up a little bit more. The religion for many years until the 70s was a secret society. Now, I will tell you that this religion is a very expensive religion. It's not a cheap religion by any form. It's expensive. But my experience with it has been both good and bad. And not because of the religion, but because of people, because of their attitudes, because of what they feel, because of the animosity that they have towards people who they feel are less than them. But let me explain something to you. Again, and I'm going to go back. Find yourself this book, whether it's in Spanish or in English. Like I said, the one that's in English is rewritten, and it's rewritten by two women, and it's actually, the wording is excellent, and the prayers are exact. I quite don't know the name of it, but I actually can give it to you because I do have it, because I took a picture of it earlier. So just bear with me 1 second, and I will give you this information. So as I'm getting this information for you, what I want you guys to understand is that there are many things that are secret societies. There are many secret societies that want you to be a slave to them, but you don't have to be, because you're smarter than that. And if you really know what you're doing, and you will ask a million questions, you will not be afraid to ask questions, because that's the one thing that you should never be afraid of. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this is the way it looks. The collection of selected prayers, and that's the cover, okay? And it's from Allan Kardec. So just, I don't know if I'm putting it right, but anyway, these are the two women who rewrote the book. Candida C. Gual, and it's original Allan Kardec, and it was translated in 2014, retranslated, and it says Devotional Manual, a Spiritual Prayer Guide, Collection of Selected Prayers. Excellent book, ladies and gentlemen. Get it. It will save your life, because there's nothing better than educating your spirit the way you educate yourself. The more you educate your spirit, the stronger your spirit gets, the stronger your intuition gets, the stronger spirit will start to communicate with you in many ways. There are a lot of spiritual people that don't need to be initiated. So if you go somewhere and someone reads you and it doesn't come up that you need to be initiated, stop jumping. Stop jumping from one place to the other, because at the end result is going to end horribly. And you're going to get a whole bunch of stuff that you really don't need. So it's been heavy in my heart to talk about this, because it's very important with everything that's going on in the world right now, that everybody assumes that this religion is going to save you, this religion is going to save you, this one is going to save us, and this one. The only thing that spirituality does for us, it enlightens us, and it talks to us, and it unites us to become the vessel that we were supposed to be from the beginning, which was connected to everything, to be a source that's connected to every source, the earth, the air, the wind, the planet, the snow, the rain, everything. That's what we are supposed to do. And this is what spirit does. It connects us to everything around us. So we get warnings, but a lot of people get warnings and they don't listen. Their intuition is strong and yet they don't listen. Things are said to them and they don't listen. And then when they fall apart, they automatically feel that their time is more valuable than yours. So they decide to call you so that you can help them and keep helping them. That's why people start to charge more. Now, not rambling, but going on as far as this religion, there are many factors and there are many different avenues within these religions. And one of the oldest and one of the most primate ones is Ifa, which is IFA. And Ifa is part of the African lineage, which is Ifa by itself. But it does intermingle between Palo Mayombe and Santeria. Now, the interesting thing about that is that a lot of people don't realize that here in the United States, this is not Africa, this is the United States. And how they do things here is differently than what they do over there. Why? The Nigerians will give you your guardian angel, whoever your guardian angel is, which is whether it's Shango, Yemaya, Oshun, or Batala. And they give you your feet and your father. People say it was just head and feet. No, they give you your guardian angel. They give you Elegba if you don't have it. They give you your father and they give you your mother. Why? Because it's up to you to understand and learn on a daily basis of your guardian angel and the person who is going to be protecting you for years to come, as long as you're in this religion. So the protection comes by acknowledging and by connecting to your spirituality. That's what they do. In Nigeria, they teach you all of this while you're underneath the throne, which is supposed to be 7 days. And you go through a whole bunch of other stuff. Now, in Nigeria, Ifa and this initiation process is all connected, is interconnected. You do one to do the other. Guys, it's 8:29, and in 1 minute we're gonna go to commercial. So after we come back from commercial, I will finish explaining this to you so that you can get a better understanding. And believe me, I'll give you the valuable point at the end of this. And then it's up to you to decide in which way you want to decide to go in life to make things easier for you so that you can live with peace of mind and reach what they say, awapele, peace and harmony. So, Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Again, this is Ori from Coffee with Ori. So, like I was saying, to get back to what we were talking about, there are many sectors to the Yoruba practicing and Santeria and Lukumi. There is a big church in Hialeah. Hey, Niete, how are you today? Welcome to the show. There is a big temple here in Hialeah, which they fought for many years to be able to sacrifice animals, and technically in Hialeah, the temple does all the initiation process. Now, when we're going to these practices, what I was saying to you earlier, how people have lost their way and people have lost respect. I've known a lot of people, and I'm not going to name names because I've actually let go of that energy and that anger towards people. But there are people out there that I know that I have mentored for many, many years, and never once have I ever mentioned that they had to be initiated. They never needed to get beads and stuff, and because of whatever reason, they go somewhere else, and a month later they're initiated by somebody else and have spent 10, 12, 13, 14, even up to $20,000 to get initiated. I used to feel bad. I used to think that it is so wrong. But then I realized, after all this time of fighting, because you're fighting the devil for no reason, you're defending people that chose to leave your side to go with people who know less than you, but because they feel that because their house is not that their house is more prestigious, but that their house is more fun because they can drink and they can party and they can do this and they can do that. But that's behind the glass. They don't realize that those people are very controlling, and that's what happens. I have seen godparents slap their children. Adults, I'm not talking about children. Godparent could be 20 years old and their godchild can be 50. And I've seen godparents slap their children because they either said something or they weren't wearing their white, or they were talking to somebody and they didn't want them socializing with another group of people. Do I believe that is the best way to be? Hey, I love you guys too. And thank you for listening. Am I that type of person? No. No one can ever accuse me of that. No one can ever accuse me of taking money from them and using them, because I don't believe in that. I believe that I charge what I charge. If you want to deal with me, then fine. If you don't, I don't hold you hostage. No one has the right to hold you hostage to anything. What I can tell you, though, is that if you, so I want you guys to be aware of this. If you get involved in this religion and you give the godparent, you come to the guardian angel and you bring the offering that you need to bring to be welcome into the home, and then you decide in a month that you don't want to be initiated, 9 out of 10, most houses will not give you back your money. Me, I probably won't keep it all, but I definitely will keep some. Why? Because I am not going to allow you or anyone to disrespect my guardian angel, nor the spirits, angels, and guides that watch over me, because they're watching over me to protect me. So therefore, I'm bothering them to bring down your guardian angel to find out what you need. And therefore, this is where the problems begin. There are many houses, like an experience of someone that I know that was here. Then she decided that she didn't want to be here for whatever reason, and I knew that she had left. I knew Spirit told me, and I didn't bother. And it turns out they took her for $25,000 to crown Owatala, a simple Orisha. And at this particular moment, I knew she was coming to my house because Spirit was very clear. She'll be back. But it's not a matter of coming back, because once you truly leave my home, I tend really not to bring you back. I will help you. So I decided to help her for the year because she's in her year of whites, and there are a lot of strict guidelines. Not strict because they want to keep you prisoner, although there are houses that do. Okay, so I'm going to tell you the difference. In my house, if you get initiated, most initiates are supposed to wear white for the whole year. In my house, the way I do, doesn't matter if people say it's the wrong thing, it's the right way. To me, whatever works. At the end of the day, I go by what my guardian angel instills in me and my spirits, angels, and guides. So therefore, my godchildren get initiated. If they work in an office, I don't expect them to wear white while they're in their office. I expect them to wear their clothes, and once they come home, then they can change into their whites. Everything is supposed to do in moderation, but there are a lot of godchildren that are very, very disrespectful and very disobedient. And I used to also create turmoil in my head. But what I've also learned within this turmoil and within this sadness is that we are all children of God, and we are one nation under God. So therefore, it doesn't matter whether you get initiated in Africa, whether you get initiated anywhere else, because in Africa, you wear 7 days and then you can go about your business. Here, they become a stickler. And like I said, they forget that they're dealing with adults. So because they're dealing with adults, they forget that adults are inquisitive, adults want to know, adults want to see, and adults usually make it their business to learn things outside of the spectrum you created for them. There are many, many, many people who are initiated in many different religions. Now, do I believe that any one particular religion is wrong? No. I've been initiated in many of them. So I don't believe there is one or the other is better. I believe there are many, many religions and many paths, but there's only one truth. And eventually we will all meet our maker, and we will eventually sit down and talk, because when our number's up, our number's up. It doesn't matter how religious you are. Once your number's up, it's up. Now, to the matter at hand. If you feel that something is wrong when you're in the spiritual house, you sit down with the person and you talk to them. If what you're hearing in your head is blah, 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 and your spirit is saying they're lying or they're full of this or they're full of that, walk away. Walk away. You don't need to be anywhere where your spirit is not comfortable. And that is the biggest problem that happens. Okay? You're adults. You're not children. It doesn't matter if someone takes you into their spiritual house and they make you feel comfortable and they make you feel loved and they make you feel this or that. You're not a child. If you're an adult, you're older than 20 years old, you're an adult. You're old enough to make up your mind. If you choose not to be there, then you know what? Walk away. But have the decency, because there's a way to come into someone's spiritual house and there's ways to come out. And that is the one thing that I must say that I don't find appealing. I think it's very disrespectful that when you leave someone's house, if you don't bring them the plate, and well, for those who don't know, I'm not going to get into it, but for those who know, you know how the same way you come in is the same way you leave. There shouldn't be hard feelings. At least sincerely, there shouldn't be. But there are a lot of people out there, and I mean a lot, that count on your money. They expect your money. So therefore, they're not interested in what you're doing. They're interested in numbers. A lot of religions. Now, I can't speak about Kemet. What I can say about Kemet is that Kemet Kemet watered down has a lot to do with Ifa. That I can tell you. But Kemet alone, I knew some people that were into Kemet and women who had the ankhs and they used to clean them or whatever. And I think it's beautiful. I think the knowledge of Kemet is amazing. But then again, there are associations and there are groups out here that segregate. I'm not saying that it's the right thing or wrong thing. Like I said, I believe that we are all children united by God. And we are, one soul. We're supposed to be. And that's fine. There was a time where most people of color used to get initiated in New York, in the Bronx, and most elders, real elders, African American elders, or people of color that are elders, were initiated in Lukumi houses, not in Ifa houses, in Lukumi. A lot of people now turn to Ifa, which is fine. The Babalawo plays his role and he's important. Should the Babalawo be the one to mark you? Some people say yes, to bring down your guardian angel. I say no. My house, my rules, my ancestors' house, we mark with our guardian angel, because who better than the person you're going to be born from to mark you? So, but some people are diehard Babalawo followers, which is fine if that's what they want to do. And that's what they're called, Babalawos. They're Ifa priests. There was a time, which some people may not know, there was a time where even in the 60s, I think, Babalawos weren't doing anything. They were not doing anything. Cuba, Puerto Rico, anywhere. They weren't doing anything. They were starving because they weren't able to do anything. Women were the readers, not men. Women were the ones who read the oracle, which is the shells. Especially in this religion. I'm talking about this religion. So therefore, they didn't really do anything. It was the women who actually started to give them work. And then they started to take it. But it has evolved in such a way where the Babalawos that exist in this time and place, calling the United States, compared to the ones that exist in Africa, are not the same. There are women who leave here and they go to Africa to become Ienifas, which is a female Babalawo, which they can receive, which people say is not possible, but technically you can. They can receive every single secret except one. Just like they say that gay people can't receive certain things, which is a lie. Gay people can receive a lot of stuff because even in the book of Ifa, it tells you that every 7 years, one gay person escapes and goes into Ifa. There's no such thing as escaping. If the deity knows who you are, the deity itself will stop you, or your spirit will stop you, or there will stop you. But sometimes it becomes commercialized. So the point I'm trying to make is, people who know me and get read by me understand that what I do is an effective way of letting you know what's going on around you. I have many abilities that I am grateful for, and I am a vessel of many things for many things to help many people, especially people in business. But I'm not a con. I'm not a thief. I'm not a get over. I'm not a pushover. And if I tell you something, maybe it might not happen today or tomorrow, but eventually down the line, it will happen. Why? I don't have control of spirit. I only have this much of a window, and I'm talking about this much. People think that we have like this huge window that God puts in front of us, and we're able to see. Well, I got news for you. Part of discernment is having a connection with the universe, God, spirits, angels, guides, the universe, and knowing that your ability is to help people. So they give us this tiny little window, this little speck, and we're able to see, and we're able to bend a little bit what is what we as humans call destiny. We tend to be able to bend certain things, but we can't completely change it. It eventually will happen, but we can bend it a little bit to our will. And therefore we give instructions of doing things, whether it's spiritual baths or whatever. But it's up to the person. It's up to the initiative or the person who's coming for the service, for them to do the work. But a lot of people expect people like me to do the work for them. Does it work? Yes, it does. But it would be more effective if you also participated. So again, this is not about bashing anyone. And this is not about bashing any one religion or anything like that. This is just basically to let you know we're living in hard times. So money is not easy to come by. So if you're not getting what you're not getting the knowledge that you need, or the knowledge you want to get or you want to understand, then it's time for you to move. If you don't even know how to pray as a medium, and you don't know, how to do certain things, then it is time for you to move on and to find things out there that can help you or educate you. There are many people out there that are willing to help. You can go on TikTok. There's plenty of readers on TikTok that can guide you to other people that may be able to help you, or you may know people from the neighborhood. However it may be, or however it may seem, I just want you to be aware, keep your eyes open. You guys are not children, you're an adult. So anything that you need to do, you do it. You don't owe me anything. But if you want to know and you want to be guided which way you should go, call me. I will be free to tell you what I feel and what I'm picking up and how and what direction you should go. So I leave you with the understanding that there are many great things, and the spiritual world is a very exciting place. It can also be very scary. But once you get involved, it's like the commercial said, reading is fundamental. And it is. Reading is fundamental. See, there is I'm going to go through this really quick. I'm not going to read. I'm just going to go through it very quickly. Prayers that I'm talking about. Okay. This prayer is for enemies that wish us harm. And the prayer consists of, it's an amazing prayer, but it also goes back to, if this spirit that is tormenting me comes from another life or from another lifetime, and I have offended him or her, please forgive me as well. Okay. Then you have the prayer to the sick. This prayer is for the guardian angels and protector spirits that protect you and watch over you. There are spirits. There's a prayer called the prayer for the soul, which is for spirits that walk with you, that are not of light, and that torment you. And you're basically praying to the spirit, but you're constantly like, it's a prayer, but it's also like a conversation that you're having with the spirit to let them know, listen, I understand that you walk with me. I get it and I appreciate it, but you have to understand that you're dead and that you can no longer walk with me because all you're doing is causing turmoil for me. So if you don't want me to cause turmoil for you, it is best that you acknowledge the fact that you are a spirit and you need to go. There is a prayer for the mediums. There's prayers when you start reunions. There's prayers for the home, for every day, for people who don't know how to read or who doesn't pray the Our Father, whatever, there's also Our Father here, and you know, blessed be to the Mother. This one is invoke the invocation to the good spirit. So this is to invoke the spirit that lives within us and around us. You have prayers for the sick, prayer for an enemy that has passed away, so that that spirit will not torment you. For enemies in the religion, any religion. Prayer for souls that have just recently passed away. And prayers for the sick, and prayers for the dying. And what else? Prayers to resist a temptation, a negative temptation. And a prayer to push away bad spirits, and also a prayer giving thanks and victory for being able to obtain control of your own mind. Because sometimes when spirit comes in, sometimes it causes problems, and sometimes it causes confusion. Are there spirits out there that are not of light? There's spirits everywhere. And since there's COVID-19, the spiritual realm is not, the spiritual realm is not opening as fast as it should be because of everything that's going on, and everything is vibrational. Remember that. So sometimes you may start to see the grays, the shadow people from the side of your eyes. You may start to see them constantly, wherever you go, even if the place is clean and not cluttered. And the best thing to do is just keep yourself prayed up, because prayer is important. Nothing in the world can beat love and kindness. And being a good human being, you can overcome anything. Although people may try to dog you and push you down, never allow that to happen. It doesn't matter if it's your mother, your father, your cousins, your brothers, your sisters. If you believe in what you believe in, then God understands you. The universe is receptive. People are not. So my advice to you all is follow your heart, follow your faith. Don't create chaos where there is none. Don't create gossip where there is none. Don't create problems where there is none. Don't make money your priority. Make your health, your well-being your priority, and then everything else will fall in order. Don't judge. Try not to judge, because it's written, not just in the Bible, in the Quran, Torah. Don't judge. We're not here to judge people. We haven't been given that right. Religious orders always judge. They tell you what to do, what not to do. And like I said, in this religion, it can become a little hectic, because there are people that are going to want to control you. And if your spirit is on cue, and I know many people who are spiritually gifted, who came from religious houses that are no longer part of this religion, nor do they want to know about this religion, who are mediums and who are powerful mediums, and they're living just fine, And at the end of the day, like I said, I don't fool people telling them they need something if they really don't need it. I don't believe in that. I work. I don't need your money, Of course I charge, but I don't need your money. I can live without your money. And for an advice, all you have to do is call or text me, or even right here what you want me to talk about, and I'll talk about it. But again, if you are an adult and you're out there and you're listening to this, you are not obligated to be a hostage for anyone. No human being on this planet has the right to keep you hostage. No organized religion, no spiritual religion, no esoteric religion, no religions like a lot of these religions that are out there. People say that the Masons are religion, but there are other orders that are within sync with the Masons, but they're not Masons. And basically, you get your information through your mind. Spirit talks to you, and that's how you get your information, and that's how you're welcomed in. So, my friends, my family out there, my guests, always think, always listen to that intuition, and always move forward. Always know that you are guided by the most highest God, however name you want to call him. And the universe will always provide as long as you're honest with yourself. Don't fall in the category of a fool like many have. I'm there too. When your eyes are wide open and you can see what's in front of you, all I'm gonna tell you is, like they say, run, Forrest, run, run. Because if people start to use you and you know that they're using you, they will continue to use you until you have no more. They will usurp your energy until you are worse off than when you came. Again, it's 9:59, just a couple of seconds. I want to thank you all for showing up today. I'm sending you love and light like I do every day. Happy Monday. Tomorrow's Tuesday, second day of the week. Enjoy it. Be yourselves. Be blessed. Remember not just to love yourself, but to love others, and respect not just yourself, but others, and to give freely, but also remember not to not give yourself. You always have to come first, second, and third. But as long as you give, you will always be blessed, and you will always have blessings from the highest. Peace and light, love and light, and I will see you next week. You're welcome. Good night.